In business, there's no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. When you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on. Because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else: your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS, official shipping sponsor of the NHL.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome back. It is hour number 2 of Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Femi Abebfe alongside Dustin Sweetelson, hanging out with you guys here at the Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas as we are taking in what will be a fun-filled evening to kick off Memorial Day weekend with a lot of sports. The NBA playoffs going on. Major League Baseball has some fun series, which we'll discuss with David Sampson coming up in 30 minutes. But joining us right now to get to what's on the ice, where it is heating up with the conference finals going on, as we welcome in our buddy, hockey insider Jeff Marek, host of The Sheet on Daily Faceoff, and he's on Twitter at Jeff Marek. Jeff, we appreciate you for joining us here as the start of this holiday weekend. And I want to start with what we saw last night, because all the conversation going into game 1 between Montreal and Carolina was, hey, like, how is this long layoff going to affect the Hurricanes? 30 seconds in, they score a goal. But after that, it was all Montreal. Based on what you saw last night, how do you see this series going forward as this young Montreal team that nobody expected to be here now has the Hurricanes sort of backs against the wall in the early going?
Montreal's 15th game of the playoffs. Each series had to go 7. Fatigue is a thing, right? The thing about Montreal is, just as quick, and I want to get to Carolina. And I think a lot of us, and I include myself in all of this, there is fatigue when you're young, and Montreal is the youngest team in the NHL, youngest team in the playoffs. When you're young, there's like an old guy's fatigue and a young guy's fatigue. When you're young, you can shake off fatigue. Did that look like a team last night that played 16 games? Not even close. They were faster. They were more efficient. They were smarter. They kind of played this combination of like 1972 Soviet meets 1977 Montreal Canadiens, both defensively responsible and also doing whatever they could do to hang on to the puck and not just surrendering it to Carolina for favorable position. Like, it almost seemed as if they went into this one knowing that there was going to be rust from the Hurricanes. And as the game went on, it looked like Carolina, first of all, Carolina looked like they were chasing the Habs all 3 periods. Like, they were chasing Montreal for 3 periods. They did not have a step on them all game. They broke down the neutral zone by using little bump plays, which was really smart. We saw Anaheim do that against Edmonton in their first round matchup. And they just played like a really clever, smart brand of hockey. Now, this wasn't Frederik Andersen's finest night. And I know there are a ton of Maple Leafs fans out there saying we knew playoff Freddie would show up eventually. I don't think he's on the front of everyone's Calder ballot right now, or Conn Smythe ballot right now. But nonetheless, like, really impressive game. And that first period, and I still maintain this, it doesn't matter what Philip Deneau does in the regular season. He can score 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, or no goals in the regular season. It doesn't matter. When it matters, this guy shows up, and he, not single-handedly, but I thought he was the major reason, goal and assist, and great every time he was on the ice. He was the major reason for me why Montreal came out of that first period up 4-1.
Home teams have now lost 6 straight in the playoffs here. Obviously, Montreal playing a big factor in that as well. 6-2 on the road in the postseason this run. St. Louis, what's he bring to the table on the bench that they've been able to do this as road warriors here, battling in Game 7s, winning on the road, finding themselves in this situation against the Carolina team that was plenty rested for this matchup, as you mentioned?
So, first thing, yes, excellent on the road, absolutely. Marty St. Louis brings with you a sort of sense of calm and a sense of this guy has done it before, because he has. one of the greatest players of his generation. But this sort of dovetails into another question: is why can't this Montreal Canadiens team win at home? And it goes back to our previous conversation, which is this is a really young team. And you see the Montreal Canadiens at home, right? Like, first of all, there's no better hockey experience than Montreal. Like, I always tell people, you have to have the Saturday night, 7:01 Eastern, lights drop, Coldplay hits, the ghost of the Forum, the hair stands up on your... Players have talked about this. Like, they feel it. And I honestly think that Montreal is more comfortable on the road because they don't get overwhelmed. Hockey players like this at home, 20,000 seats. It's the biggest arena in the NHL. It's packed. It's loud. They have a member of the alumni carry in the torch every game. It is insane. And it almost feels like the players get overwhelmed by it. Whereas on the road, it's all about the other team and there's nothing to get overwhelmed by.
Wow.
The only thing I can come up with as far as a reason, it's just youth. It's just youth. And they get overwhelmed by it at home, and on the road, they tend to feel more comfortable because the pressure's off.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing they don't have home ice in this series then. like the previous two series. Like against Tampa, against Buffalo, they were able to get it done on the road in those big Game 7 spots. This is Follow the Money. Femi Abebefe, Dustin Sweetelson hanging out with Jeff Merrick, Hockey Insider, host of The Sheet on Daily Faceoff, on Twitter at Jeff Merrick. Real quick before we get to the Western Conference Finals, because we do have Game 2 later on tonight between Colorado and Vegas. Who do you see winning this series between Montreal and Carolina? Because it feels like this is now or never for the Hurricanes, given their history in this particular round. Is this the year that they finally get over the hump, or does this youthful naivete of Montreal carry them to the Stanley Cup final?
In Carolina, and here's why I'll say Carolina. I don't know that I've ever seen Jacob Slavin play a worse game. And to me, Jacob Slavin is one of the best defensemen in the NHL. One of the best kept secrets, although he was tremendous at the Olympics, tremendous at Four Nations. If you're a hockey fan, casual or otherwise, you should probably know Jacob Slavin by now. He is the best defensive defenseman in the NHL, almost without peer. Fans know it. Ask anyone that's played with him or against him. They'll tell you this guy is as close to the perfect defensive defenseman as you see in the NHL. He was awful last night. That was the worst game I've ever seen Jacob Slavin play. Rod Brind'Amour head coach of the Hurricanes, commented last night, I've never seen him play a worse game, 8 years, never seen anything like that. I can't believe that the Carolina Hurricanes aren't going to come out different the next game, in Game 2, because that's the worst. That's the worst we've seen out of the Carolina Hurricanes. And any Rod Brind'Amour coach team isn't going to lay an egg like that 2 games in a row. Again, having said that, though, much like Vegas, they got what they needed. They got the split minimum. Same thing for the Montreal Canadiens. I don't see Carolina playing that poorly and allowing Montreal to dictate the pace for 2 games in a row. I still think Carolina, but now I got to really question this. I don't think they're as deep as the Carolina Hurricanes. They have a different style than the Carolina Hurricanes. Carolina tends to play in your hip pocket, which makes it really, really annoying to play against. And maybe this goes back to the conversation about Marty St. Louis. I don't know that Montreal gets upset. I think Montreal has a stick-to-itiveness about them, but I'm going to keep saying Carolina unless they lose Game 2. If they lose Game 2, all bets are off. Now, all of us could see Carolina winning Games 3 and 4, those being in Montreal. Don't say Carolina, but I can see at least a path now for how Montreal can do this.
Jeff, let's go to tonight, 8:10 p.m. Eastern time. Colorado minus 166 favorite at home, looking to bounce back against VGK, plus $1.40 with the Knights. Total 6.5, and the under is juiced at minus 130, anticipating maybe a lower scoring game. But that kind of surprised me with the news about Cal Makar not being available for this one. What do you make of the matchup? Do you anticipate a bounce back from the Avs?
I do. I've seen Nathan MacKinnon angry before. And listen, Nathan MacKinnon, that move that he put on Braden McNabb heading over to the Gabriel Landeskog goal was a thing of beauty. I've seen Nathan MacKinnon angry before, and that was right up around there. What we saw after Game 1, and again, angry and frustrated, snapping back at media, that's what we saw out of Nathan MacKinnon. I would hate to be a defenseman on the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. This guy is close as we have to a rhinoceros on skates in the NHL. When he gets ahead of steam, guys bounce off him. He's the one-man zone entry, one of the best shooters, one of the best passers, one of the best, power forwards in the NHL. Not that I think he does this single-handedly, but I still do think that there's enough for Colorado, even without Cale Makar, to win this series. It just gets that much harder because now everybody's sort of out of their slot. Brent Burns pops up to play with Devon Taves in that first hole, so you don't have Makar and Taves. You don't have Burns and Manson together anymore, so the juggling gets tricky. Players like Sam Malinsky become even more important than they were before. So Vegas has got what they want. They're playing with house money now. I think we're going to see a different Avalanche team, or a more effective Avalanche team. There were so many pucks off the toe, pucks off the heel, missed passes, missed reads. I don't think we see 2 games in a row out of that from Colorado.
Jeff, we got about 40 seconds left. Do you see this being a long series between Vegas and Colorado?
I do. I see both going long. I see Carolina, Montreal going long, and I think that Vegas and Colorado go long. The one thing that we didn't see, guys, in Game 1 that I want to see in Game 2, considering the animosity between these two organizations, this stretches way back, where was all the hatred?
Yeah.
Nothing in Game 1. Game 2 better bring some of that. Or I'm going to go away disappointed from this evening because these two teams do not get along. Let's see some hockey hate out there tonight, boys.
It's early. We got Game 2 tonight. Maybe it'll start tonight over at Ball Arena in Denver. He is Jeff Marek. We can never hate him. Hockey insider, host of The Sheet on Daily Faceoff. Check him out on Twitter at Jeff Marek. Jeff, enjoy the games this weekend. Be well, and we'll hope to talk to you down the line.
Buzz anytime. Always good to catch up.
That is Jeff Marek joining us via the Progressive guest line.
I have actually been to a game in Montreal. I was 9 years old. The old arena, not the Bell Center, the old arena. Dude, it was a European soccer match. The chanting in unison, everyone on the – it was like they all had a script, and they were just – each intermission, they knew exactly what to do every time there was a break in the action.
Like he was saying, you get chills.
Yeah.
And you get chills watching it at home. I can only imagine actually being in the building. It's on the bucket list. I never thought it would be on the bucket list to go see a hockey game in Montreal, but after this postseason, that is something I need to do before I kick the bucket. We will talk more about the Stanley Cup playoffs as well as what's happening in Major League Baseball when we come back here on Follow the Money.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Circus 2026 football contests open today. And if you don't have to live in Las Vegas to play for it, after you registered in-person registration, after your required in-person registration, Winner's Circle Proxy handles your weekly submissions so you can make your picks from anywhere in the country. Winner's Circle Proxy is VSiN's preferred proxy service. One trip to Vegas, play all season long from anywhere. Schedule your appointment now at winnerscircleproxy.com. I was getting distracted by what's happening at Wrigley Field. Welcome back. This is Follow the Money. Femi Bebefe, Dustin Sweetelson, hanging out with you guys here on VSiN. I thought we had action there for a second, but
we almost did.
Nice play by the outfielder there for the Houston Astros. As one down, I believe.
Yeah, one down in the ninth here. It was a 3-0 count on Michael Busch. He took a borderline pitch for a strike and then flew out to left. So glycerine. I just wanted to mix in a glycerine reference for Bush. Yeah, I know people heard me say Bush. They thought I was going to go in another direction. They got very nervous. But no, I was just going to reference the musician, the band in the 90s. What were their two songs? It was Hey Glycerine.
I was like, yeah, your guess is as good as mine.
It was Glycerine and Hey Jealousy. No, it's the Gin Blossoms. I'm confusing them with the Gin Blossoms.
Well, I've never heard of these songs.
No, you know Bush.
I feel like if you probably, well, I don't know if you can play it because I think you're typing now. I'm getting nervous that you might actually try to pull something up here.
The other one's Machine Head. Everyone knows Machine Head.
Well, you have to give me more.
I gotta remember how it goes. It's been a minute.
I'm like, bro, that could have been a cartoon. It could be a song. It could be a movie. I don't know.
It was. Oh God, how does it start? It's a guitar riff that you will know. I'll play it for you in the break. Trust me, our audience, they love Bush,
and I'm sure they're cursing me right now for like not knowing this off the top of my head.
Sacrilegious. So I told Kelly Bidlin a bit I used to do back in the day when I did very small market radio in Valdosta, Georgia. I'd be like, how many people were listening? So I'd come back from break and I'd play like Metallica. And I'd be like,
yeah, I've heard
I'd be like, this is my favorite. This is my favorite AC/DC song of all time. And then the phone lines would light up like, it's Metallica, you moron. How do you not know? And like that's the game we play.
So Luke played a song in our ears. So that's like the breathe in, breathe out,
that's it.
breathe. Okay, yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. I mean, I used to play high school football, so I had to be in the weight room, and that's like on like the weight room soundtrack playlist because we would try to play hip hop. Our coach, not as big of a fan because sometimes,
shocker.
Sometimes some dancing would be happening going on. He's like, hey, you be lifting weights,
not having fun.
Yeah, like, how dare you have fun in the off season? So then he put on like his AC/DC, all his stuff. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like Back in Black, okay, cool, this is awesome. Like, and I know they are good songs, but it's just not my cup of tea.
Well, yeah, it's ironic that the coach is using the music that fires him up for the players to be fired up that don't relate to it at all.
I'm like, bro, we're the ones that are lifting. What's going on here?
What position did
throw that young Jeezy on, Doc?
What position did a young Femi Abebefe play in high school football?
I was an offensive tackle and defensive tackle, man. We were both sides of the ball, baby. Baby, we were all league, all area. We were out there in them streets. Did not make all state though because of politics, but hey, had a good career.
Wait. Yeah. What's the politics? What's the politics?
Not politics in like 2026. This is like old-fashioned politics, like like favoritism. And
not like the New York Giants quarterback being involved today.
I did see that, and that's all I'll say about that.
Final score: Houston 4, Cubs 2. Bailed you out there.
All right. So fly the L, as Brewers fans like to say. I have a buddy who's a Brewers fan. He always says fly the L whenever the Cubs lose.
Look, this is an issue. I know Chicago went on a little bit of a run here. They're still 8 games above 500, right? Everyone in that division looks like
they have cooled off.
But let's look now. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 6 in a row. 10 of 12 they've lost. And remember, this is a team that has pitching woes, right? Justin Steele hasn't thrown a pitch this season. They're dealing with injuries to that rotation. I just don't see how they withstand this, especially once you get into the summer months. You're asking so much out of Imanaga, who, by the way, they didn't pick up his contract for next year. And then you have Edward Cabrera, who I think is highly overrated. And I think they're going to wind up losing that trade, trading Owen Casey down there to Miami. I don't know how this team just relies on their lineup to get it done when they're not good enough and they don't have the arms that you need to get through a summer here. I'd be looking at Milwaukee still in that division. I know the price is a little bit different.
What is that price? Because obviously, like 10 days ago, it must have been really, really nice.
It shortened up a lot.
So let's pull this up here over at DraftKings Futures as we hit through the tabs, divisions, and the NL Central. So the Cubs are still your favorite, hanging on barely at plus 120. The Brewers plus 135. I mean, the Brewers, the standings, they're in first place, right? Like, it's like, what are we... Like, what are we doing with that? Like, this is a tried and true Milwaukee team that, they had the best record in the NL last year. Like, this playoff stuff aside, because I don't believe in the Brewers in October, but the months of April through September, like, the Brewers are pretty damn good. Like, I feel like the Brewers should be the favorites at this point, no?
Okay, I'm with you. I'm a big Brewers guy. I usually have a Brewers bet every year. This is the first year I don't have any Brewers action right now. I think I had them 40-1 to win the NL last year, which, by the way, that stung when they got swept. When they got swept. So it wasn't really fun. Yeah. But
it's every October for Milwaukee.
You factor in Mizorowski at the top. Logan Henderson goes tonight against the Dodgers. That's a good test for a young kid with a live arm. And I know Woodruff's injured, and I know they've got injuries to guys like Priester and whatnot in the minors. We don't know when or how we're going to see them later. But they just find a way, man. They find a way to put lipstick on a pig. They develop bats everywhere. They play the splits game. They have athletic dudes who make things happen, taking extra bases. It's a bit of an old school approach. I'll never doubt them, but I would say this. I think the Pittsburgh Pirates are in a very unique standing this year. And I didn't get on them preseason to make the playoffs like I wanted to. The number kept moving. It took on a lot of steam.
They were kind of like the hip team.
They were plus 280 when I looked
them
initially to make the playoffs. And the thing got all the way down like plus 120. I want to say 105, somewhere in that range. They're 2 games above 500. And I think with the lockout coming, again, this is going to be my theory, and we'll run it by David Sampson when we have him on later on in the show.
Coming up in 10 minutes.
But could Pittsburgh just be going all in here and capitalizing on this run and trying to do something before everything kind of changes down the road and capitalizing on not having to pay Paul Skeens yet? Because remember, we're going to be 1 year post this lockout, whatever it is, however long it is, that we're now one less year of a cheap Paul Skeens under contract for them.
But do they strike you as the type of organization that would do that?
No.
Because like the Dodgers and Yankees do.
No,
the Pirates do not.
No, their owner, and we had John Smoltz on last week, 2 weeks ago to talk about it, and he said, I love the Pirates, but until that ownership proves to me they're willing to do it, I can't trust that they'll do it. I just think that division's there for the taking. I think they're a playoff team, and as long as they have Paul Skeens, kind of like the Tigers, right? If you can line it up for 3 games in a 7-game series to have Paul Skeens, you have a very good chance of winning that series.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's as scary a pitcher as you'll find in Major League Baseball. And, like, the National League is loaded with those guys, but Skeens, at his A game, is still the best amongst them all. Like, that's why he won the Cy Young last year. He is a dangerous one. But how about that division, though? I mean, all the teams above 500 with, like, your Milwaukee. Like, we usually think about this division as an afterthought, the NL Central. It's like, oh, the Brewers will take care of business, whatever. Or if the Cubs are good, then people get excited. But, I mean, even Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, they're all above 500.
It's crazy.
Like, it's a little jumbled mess there. 4.5 games separate the Brewers from the last place Cincinnati Reds and Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I just have this thing with the Cubs where I enjoy watching them fail. I don't. They've never done anything to me.
Have you ever been out to Wrigley?
No.
You gotta go, man.
Well, Chicago.
Gotta go.
This time of year. This is when you go to Chicago.
Yeah,
too.
it's
this
the
is the time of year.
Oh my! I went 2 years ago, 4th of July week. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I was telling Luke about this before the show. Like it was a Friday game, so it was like this. It was like that 1:10 first pitch day game. We went out there, my wife and I, for brunch before the game started to Wrigleyville. Like we did the whole, because we were staying over at River North along the river. Then we rode the L to Wrigleyville, like doing the whole like touristy, trying to be immersed in the Chicago experience. Went to brunch, walked over to the ballpark, hung out at one of the ballpark breweries or whatever that's close by.
Love that.
Had some beers, went to the game. Justin Steele, who you mentioned, pitched a complete game. They were taking on the Angels a couple years ago. Complete game for Justin Steele. Wow. Went to the Cubby Bar after the game. Party still vibing. I was like, I don't know how people work on a Friday in Chicago, especially if you're on the north side. It was a phenomenal experience.
Quick search.
Check it out.
Justin Steele, no relation to Lexington, according to my research here. But the Cubbies. Yeah, Wrigley. I have to go to Wrigley. I haven't been to a lot of the big stadiums, like a lot of the major ones. I got you with that one. Yeah, I haven't been to a lot of the big boys.
We're all 14 one time.
Yeah. Hey, look, if you're gonna lay it out there, I'm gonna hit it out of the park. I do have to get to Wrigley. Chicago is one of my favorite cities in the world. I will leave it at that. But if I'm betting anyone, I'm looking at Pittsburgh 9.5 to 1 to win the division. I don't think they're going quietly as we get into the summer months because of the pitching, because of the balance of the attack. I like their lineup. Bullpen concerns me to some degree, but we'll see. We'll see with Pittsburgh. That's the shot that I would take 9.5 to 1 to win the division.
There are people in the audience who have no idea what the hell your quip just meant, and those people are pure.
I feel bad for them.
No, I don't. I'm actually jealous of those people.
Well, we got an email. I got an email from Michael Kristen, who writes in, what's
Please
the email?
don't Google.
FTM@VSiN.com.
Yeah.
FTM. He said, Machine Head, words may not be right. He said, got a machine head better than the rest, green to red, machine head. He nailed it. That's the lyrics. Those are lyrics.
That's the breathe in, breathe out song? Or
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe. Feels like that was in Varsity Blues.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it was like classic, like 2000s. If you were in high school at that time, just like everyone was playing that song.
There goes my hero.
Is that them?
That's
or is
Foo
that somebody?
Fighters.
I was gonna
That's Foo
say. I was
Fighters.
like, I'm pretty sure that's like my neck of the woods.
I'm just playing like the Friday Night Lights soundtrack that everyone had going on Friday nights in the pickup truck pulling up to the game.
Yeah. There you go. The Foo Fighters. Shout out to the Foo Fighters. Any other musical drops that you want to give us before we head to break?
No, but I'm seeing Ken Rosenthal with a report that maybe the Rays could be in the mix for Tarek Skubal in the trade market.
Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it.
Ooh, spicy.
The Rays getting active? I don't know about that one. We'll ask David Sampson that question when we come back here on Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Oh, the fun is rolling along on a Friday here on Follow the Money. Femi Abebefe, Dustin Sweetelson hanging out with you guys here at the Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. We will get back to the NBA coming up in the next segment. Start to preview tonight's Game 3 between the Thunder and the Spurs. But right now, we have to go and take a trip to the Diamond as we're headed towards an awesome weekend in Major League Baseball. And to help us preview that and talk some big picture, now that we've made it to Memorial Day weekend, we welcome in World Series champion executive David Samson, joining us via the Progressive Guest Line, host of Nothing Personal with David Samson. Make sure you check that out over on YouTube, on Twitter at David P. Samson. David, thanks for hanging with us here on this Friday of Memorial Day weekend. I want to start with what's going on in the Bronx this weekend. Massive series between the Rays and the Yankees, and the big news tonight, of course, Yankees getting back their stud ace, Garrett Cole, who we have yet to see pitch since the World Series of 2024, at least at the big league level. What are your expectations of Cole tonight, and how do you see this series playing out with the two best teams in the American League?
Yeah, it's going to be up and down for Cole. Anytime you're coming back from his sort of injury, it's not going to be consistent performance. And the reason why they didn't have him do another rehab start is that Max Fried got put on the injured list with a bone bruise, which is code word for some sort of problem with the elbow. But there always is room for depth, and the Yankees had depth ready to go. Rodon came off the IL and joined the rotation. Now it's Garrett Cole's turn. But he's going tonight against the best pitcher, one of the top three pitchers, maybe the other Yankee, along with Martinez. You're just talking about quality, and people should not expect the Garrett Cole from his prime. He's obviously serviceable, but the edge has to go to the Rays tonight.
Now, David, I want to stay with the Yankees and maybe the Rays to some degree as well, because you've run these franchises. You understand the unique circumstances they find themselves in, but maybe no more unique than this year with maybe a holdout or missing a season next year with a lockout and a potential salary cap coming down the road. Do you anticipate a very active season of trading as we come from now, Memorial Day, to the trade deadline, for some of these teams to kind of put themselves over the top, take on more payroll, knowing eventually they're going to have to cut, and a window to win the title is on the line here with no salary cap?
Well, first of all, I'm not so sure there's definitely going to be a salary cap. It's definitely going to be one of the issues that is bargained, but we don't know where it will end. But you bring up a great point, which is if there is even the risk of a work stoppage next year that, God forbid, could stop a World Series from being played. And I don't even want to think that way because we're just starting this season and we have a whole great season to look forward to. But as a president of a team or an owner, you know that if you're not playing games next season, your players are going to get a year older. And so you may view your prime or your window to win as right now, which would make you do things at the deadline that may be a bigger reach than what you would normally do. So the behavior of the owners could be different, and it'll be very telling when we watch the deadline unfold at the end of July. That will give you a really good insight into how the owners are feeling about collective bargaining.
Well, who do you think would be some of those teams, David? Because obviously we can all point to the Dodgers, everybody's evil empire out west now, but is it the Yankees? Who else would be one of those teams that could maybe really push all the chips to the center of the table?
I think you got to look at the fringe teams. Look at a team like the Pittsburgh Pirates. When you've got a year with Paul Skeens and he's not yet arbitration eligible and he's one of the best pitchers in baseball, and you're in a division that is definitely winnable. It's a tough division, but definitely winnable. That would be an example of a team that I would say is going to do what it has to do. The other one would be Tampa. Look at Tampa. Right now, they're trying to get a new ballpark built. They also see themselves, what was supposed to be an afterthought in the American League East, and they could be the best team in the American League East. But there's one thing they don't have. They don't have the jewelry. So this would be a good opportunity for them as well to put all the chips in to try that ring this year. So I think you could be looking for, of course, the Dodgers. They want to catch the Yankees of 98 to 2000. They want to win 3 in a row, and they've got a deep farm system. They are going to make sure that they don't have one possible hole going into October. So what's fascinating is you're going to see low payroll teams and high payroll teams really aggressively selling. Really aggressively buying at this year's deadline.
I love it. More buyers, the better. I mean, the sellers are going to love that as well because they're just going to unload everyone on their roster. Now, Femi mentioned at the start, we're at Memorial Day, David, where the identities are starting to form. They're not fully there, but we kind of know who is and who isn't a contender. But there's always a possibility at this point of the season for someone to make a move to jump up in the standings. If I forced you AL, NL, is there anyone you think is a good buy low, like maybe a Toronto in the American League, or maybe a Philadelphia, or God, maybe the Mets in the National League? Is there someone you would buy low on right now?
Yeah, so let's talk about this. The stats say about 55% of the division leaders on Memorial Day will be the division leaders on Labor Day. So you really do have to look at the standings on Monday. And as I'm looking at the standings live with you now, two divisions I want to focus on. One is the American League Central. You've got the Guardians, who they just find a way and sitting on half-game lead. But look at the second-place team, Chicago White Sox. Jerry Reinsdorf, octogenarian, not getting any younger, has gone through multiple seasons of a nightmare, hasn't won the World Series in over 20 years. He may take this opportunity to say, you know what? We're as close as we may be. This is going to be an opportunity for me. So I'm looking at the White Sox in the American League. In the National League, I always have to look at Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, promised a World Series, hasn't happened. They didn't fire Carlos Mendoza, and they want to prove that David Stearns knows what he's talking about and that Mendoza is the right manager. So to do that, they're going to have to add. So I would expect them to be aggressive, but I would also tell you that they could be in a position to get to the wild card. I don't think they're going to catch the Braves, but they just want to get to the tournament. And once in the tournament, as you know, anything can happen.
Wow. I mean, that'd be some quite a turnaround for the New York Mets, who have been playing some pretty poor baseball since like last July, based on how things have sort of unfolded for them. This is Follow the Money. Femi Bebfe, Dustin Sweetelson hanging out with David Samson, World Series champion executive, host of Nothing Personal with David Samson, CBS Sports HQ on Twitter at David P. Samson. On the player level, we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the show. Shohei Ohtani is a massive, massive favorite to win National League MVP, but the bat hasn't quite been there. I know he hit the home run a couple nights ago against the San Diego Padres, but it's been more dominance on the mound. Could you envision a scenario where Ohtani does not win the MVP this year if he's able to stay healthy and also bat and pitch?
It's a great question, because in my mind, how does he not win the MVP every year? When you've got a number one starter and a leadoff hitter, how is that not an MVP when it's the same guy and it's a team that can win 100 games and has won a World Series back-to-back? I can't compute it in my head. But Kyle Schwarber, let's pretend he hits 73 home runs. I mean, that seems ridiculous to say, but let's just pretend he does. Do you then give him the MVP, but give Ohtani the Cy Young? If I know Ohtani, he wants that Cy Young, but he'd also like to join the very small list of Cy Young and MVP. But will the voters get fatigue? Because if you keep voting for him, does it mean that he's going to be the best and win it every year? Well, maybe we're looking at the greatest player any of us have seen in our lifetime. So I'm going to say Ohtani is the favorite for both the Cy Young and the MVP, even though the NL Cy Young is such a tight race with Sanchez. Don't forget how good Sanchez is, and Skeens. And what about the guy tonight against the Yankees? Don't sleep on Martinez. So it's an interesting race, that's for sure.
Real quick, Dave, before we let you go, Dodgers plus 215, some more hardware they want to add to their trophy case, a third straight World Series championship. The Yankees, the next shot on the board, 6-1. Braves are 8.5-1. Outside of those two teams, and which one of those two teams do you think is the best chance of stopping a three-peat this year?
Well, I think it's got to happen in the National League, and I do think the Braves in a 7-game series, the Dodgers can be beaten. So I do like the Braves in value if they get to the Dodgers. But the real way to get to the Dodgers is going to be before they even get to that. It's going to be in the first round in the division series. They'll get a bye for the wild card, I expect. But in the 3 out of 5, weird stuff happens. The Dodgers' last loss in the playoffs to the Diamondbacks when Betts and Freeman went like 0 for 21 over 3 games. That can happen. So if the Dodgers are not going to get the three-peat, you're likely going to have to do it in a shorter series.
Yeah, we saw the Padres had him on the ropes a few years ago. They were up 2-1 in the series, but they blew it, ultimately losing that one 3-2. He is David Samson, World Series champion executive, host of Nothing Personal with David Samson over on YouTube, on Twitter at David P. Samson. David, we appreciate the time. Thanks for hanging with us. Enjoy the weekend and be well.
Hey, I appreciate it. I love what you guys do. Thanks for having me on. Have a good weekend.
Awesome. That is David Sampson joining us via the Progressive guest line. I mean, he got me jacked up for the trade deadline. I tell you that.
We got a couple months, but I think it's going to start soon with teams in contention.
Yeah, it's like man, like you really kind of, if we're not going to play, and we all want to play baseball, but we also have to be realistic. If there's going to be some kind of shortened season or an entire like lockout season, 2026 might be the year to actually go.
Pirates to make the playoffs plus 230. Then they get in the dance. You got Skeens. Anything can happen.
Hello. How about that? All right, on the other side, we'll turn our attention once again to the association as we help you get ready for tonight's Game 3 between the Thunder and the Spurs.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Your favorite VSiN hosts are taking over the world's largest sports book, and you're invited. We're not talking about me and Dustin.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a weird way to word that.
You know, I'm just saying. I'm sticking to the script.
Not my mom's favorite VSiN hosts.
Join Mitch and Pauly on June 13th from 1 to 5 p.m. and Sweat Bets. Talk about your favorite Follow the Money moment and more. $250 gets you an open bar, all-you-can-eat food, and an afternoon with your favorite host. Favorite in there one more time. Don't miss out. Sign up at vsin.com/beyond-the-booth. That's vsin.com/beyond-the-booth. How about we got the graphic made up, the full treatment here. Femi Bebefe, Dustin Sweetelson filling in for your favorite host, Mitch and Pauly, here on Follow the Money. How about that, man? Maybe, is that why they're off? Are they setting up for this bad boy? Is that what's going on here? Did I miss the memo?
Well, what I'd say is I'm willing to bet neither of them will be dressed in that attire for this event. Pauly will have on his finest undershirt tank top. I don't know the appropriate way to say it on the air, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a little different.
The beater. I guess you can call it the beater.
It's 2026, buddy.
Yeah, his best undershirt tank top with his very pale skin contrasting against it. And Mitch, likely with some board shorts with an Hawaiian theme. That's my prediction. If there was a prediction market for what they're wearing, I would be the richest person in the world.
Put it up on Kalshi. We love you boys, Mitch and Pauly. They're the best. That sounds like a fun experience, though. I tell you what. I was telling.
Do we have to pay to go?
I mean, I hope not. I mean, I just got my free VSiN Pro subscription, so I think we're all good here. But I was telling Luke, I was like, is this going to be at Stadium Swim or is it going to be at the book? It sounds like it's at the book. Like a cabana might get a little tight for as many people that will be showing up here, but I mean, it's that time of year, Memorial Day weekend. You were just out there to go use the bathroom, I'm assuming. The energy's picking up here at Circle.
When I pulled in around 11:45 noon, there were women in bikinis that were just kind of wrapped up that were coming to Stadium Swim. So it is definitely that time of year.
It is that time of year, my friend.
They call it scouting season. Don't bring binoculars, though.
Wandering eye season, perhaps?
A radar gun, that'd be interesting, but binoculars, no.
Just do not do that. Be respectable. Have some damn decorum, okay? Have some decorum. I did see, though, yesterday as I was leaving, there was it looked like a couples trip. It was two couples. I'm assuming they drove in because they had like a bunch of stuff with them. Also had like I'm a sucker for Michelob Ultra. They had the Mick Ultra as well in the trolley.
Because you drink like 30 of them.
Exactly, and you're all good still.
Yeah.
And they're like low cal too if you're trying to like somewhat stay in shape, but while also being a degenerate alcoholic. But it's
you can vibe.
You can vibe with it. It's like it's not something heavy.
This is a good topic because you were married 2 years ago? You got married?
Yes, 2 years ago.
Okay.
2 years ago.
I'm getting married in early next year, February, March.
I was going to ask you if you had a date, but I didn't want to be that guy because usually when you get engaged, everyone's like, well, when are you getting married? It's like, hey, we're enjoying the engagement, first of all.
Don't ask me because I'm not really that all involved in the planning if I'm just going to be transparent.
He already knows.
Yeah, you do what you want to do and we'll make it work. But I've been proposed the idea because my bachelor party would have to be in football season. Based on the timing here.
Yeah, that's tough.
Do I just do it in Vegas and make everyone come to me and we just do Vegas where like I do have like some familiarity and connection, so like we could probably
get some extra stuff.
Yeah, do it in a fun way versus taking a football weekend over. Steve Cohen, our boss, is listening. He's like, you're not taking a weekend off in football season for your bachelor party? Get the hell out of here.
How about divisional round weekend? Can we do that?
He's like, I just gave you 3 days off for your knee surgery, you dummy. You wasted it. So I think Vegas might be the move, but where did you do yours?
So I did Scottsdale.
Okay, it's not far.
Because my wedding was in April, which my wedding was literally on Final Four Saturday. Didn't really plan that one out great. Like my wife wanted an outdoor wedding because as you're learning, like what the wife wants, she'll get.
It's just not worth to make her have to settle. She's already settling for you in life. Like, don't make her settle for the day that she's marrying you.
You already said yes, whatever you want, honey.
Yeah.
She wanted an outdoor wedding, so Summer's off the board with an outdoor wedding because like preferably like, hey, summer wedding, whatever. But
do you know how many tuxedos I'd have to rent for an outdoor wedding in the summer in Vegas?
I must now change for the 7th time as I've sweated through another tuxedo. So like summer was off the board. Obviously football season was off the board because like you obviously want to do the honeymoon afterwards. So like it was like, okay, it has to be in the spring. But if it's outdoors, it could be a little touchy February, March in the springtime. Let's do April because the way the calendar broke that year, I believe the week before was Easter.
Okay.
The week after it was booked, and the week after that, the venue was booked. The week after that was 420. So like we're not getting married on 420. That was like a hard line stance for my that's not happening. So April 6th ended up being our date, which was Final Four Saturday. That was the Final Four when NC State had the miracle run, lost to Purdue, and then UConn beat I forgot who the hell UConn beat, but they beat the hell out of them from what I remember. But it was my wedding day. Get off me. But I did remember getting ready with my groomsmen, and we're watching the NC State Purdue game since that was the first game of the day. I believe UConn beat Alabama. It might have been.
That feels right.
But
that feels right.
Yeah. It was an April wedding. So the bachelor party was in February, and we did Scottsdale because that's one of the few places that's still warm in the month of February.
I feel like Scottsdale, like their biggest business is bachelor and bachelorette parties.
100%.
That is their number one.
It's a good time. It's a very like now the secret's out on Scottsdale.
Yeah.
But like some buddies of mine, we went in 2017. Because a buddy was like, hey, like we got to do this Scottsdale thing. I was like, why do we want to go to Scottsdale? Isn't just a bunch of old people down there?
Yeah.
He's like, no, man, like this is like something. And we went down there. I was like, oh my goodness, like my eyes were wide open. Like, and this was before I had met my wife. So like we had a lot of fun. Like it was just like, wow, I had no idea. Like Old Town, that whole deal.
Yeah, I kind of figured
it's a great time.
I mean, you watch a Diamondbacks game, you peek around behind home plate in the dugouts. There's usually a pretty consistent theme of what you're seeing out there.
It's a good time. And for those of you who want to play a little bit of golf, you can do that.
Yeah, that too.
But because it was February though, got to go to it was a Rockies, I think, but there was a Rockies Cubs or Rockies someone spring training game.
I would say Arizona spring training super underrated. I did that one year for work, and we hit like 3 or 4 different parks. The Angels by far the worst facility of all of them. Like it was embarrassing. We interviewed Ohtani and Pujols in the locker. We didn't interview Ohtani because he wasn't
interpreter.
Yeah, he was a rookie, but
he
was there.
Was that Ipe?
You know what? He might have been there. We interviewed Mike Trout. We got a good 4 minutes or 90 seconds, I should say, out of Mike Trout for the interview. He answered 5 questions in 90 seconds.
Wow.
Real riveting. But that was
some tough stuff.
Colorado and Arizona and the Diamondbacks had the best facility.
Yeah, Colorado was good to go out there. And like that was also one that was like near Scottsdale because like it was about like 10 or 12 of us for my bachelor party. So it's like we had to take like a couple Uber XLs out there.
We brought up Montreal going there for a playoff game. We brought up spring training. Mm-hmm. We should throw this out there at VSiN Live, at Dustin Sweetelson, at Femi Abebefe. Is there an obscure like sports bucket list that you want to do? Not the marquee one, not the Masters.
So I want to go to Augusta. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, one that's like oddly, you have a better chance of going to the moon these days than getting a ticket to Augusta. Okay, is there like a really weird obscure one that you're like, I just want to experience this and I don't know why?
Spring training, I feel like is like a top of the list. Now a lot of people have probably experienced spring training because it's not like in super high demand. But like that's one for me. I was like, that was just cool because like all the other ones that I would have, like I don't have an obscure bucket list that I've already in my mind worked out because like I want to go to an LSU game in Baton Rouge, like LSU Bama Baton Rouge. Under the lights, that would be cool. But I feel like that's on a lot of people's bucket list. I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm right with her.
But I think just being specific helps. Like I want to go to a draft in person because the NFL draft's my favorite event. But two,
isn't that like New Year's Eve for sports fans?
But here's why I want to go. I know my phone's not going to work. So I'm not going to know any of the rumors or any. Yeah. So I know that I'm going to have to focus on what's happening there. That's on my list.
Well, logistically, how does it all work out though with that draft? Because like what I've heard, I've never done Times Square New Year's Eve. But like you pretty much
sane.
You have to like wear a diaper because like you can't like there's nowhere to go to the bathroom or anything like that. Like a bunch of people, like you literally as an adult must wear a diaper, otherwise your kidney might shut down. Is the draft the same? Because like I mean maybe is there a line of honey buckets that are somewhere nearby where you can go? Because like I didn't go to one that when it was out here in Vegas. I was watching it at home, and like I might have been working honestly with our guy Lombo. Might have been doing the draft show, but like what is it like for those of you who have been to the draft? Is it a fun experience? Because I've always just been like, I don't know, but I could also see it being cool.
Yeah, look, it takes a lot to get me off my couch. Like, there's very few things, especially when we're talking about sporting events. The TV watching experience is so much better than going to an event. Like, I don't know why you would ever pay money to not have alternate camera angles to confirm what you did or didn't see. If there's a review, if there's controversy, sometimes you're not even sure who hit shots or made passes, whatever it may be. Like, I don't know why you'd ever go to a game when you can watch it at home and it's way better.
And now it's in 4K. Like it's like everything's in 4K.
Yeah.
You got your drinks at home. You got your snacks at home. You can invite some friends if you want to, or you can watch it at home alone if you want to.
Getting in and out of the stadium alone is like...
It's a lot. It's a big process. And home is very comfortable. And these televisions, I mean, I remember growing up in the 90s, to buy a TV, it felt like you had to take out a loan. Now you get 70-inch TV for a pretty decent price. It's like, all right, you know, everyone's got a good TV.
I was explaining to someone that when I moved into college in 2003, I was carrying a tube TV that was like this big, up like stairs, like leaning back, hoping I didn't drop it.
The tube TV, the TV got a big old ass on it.
Yeah, man.
And now they're all thin. Like now, where they get you though is that now you need a sound bar because the TV's so damn thin. The speakers are thin.
We went from Cardi B to Ozempic TVs. Speaking of, I need some Ozempic. Hook me up. Can we get a sponsorship?
GLP-1s will be coming near you here on VSiN. That's what we call killing a segment. We'll be back, though, to talk about our all-time role players in the NBA. That's the kickoff, hour number 3 of Follow the Money.